Hello and welcome everybody to the weekly Pass the Controller Please charity stream podcast. Now this is a weekly event, of course, as everyone on the channel
We've
is
done it
completely...
100 times at least.
This
right?
is like episode 400. This is the Halloween special. It's extra spooky. That's why I have a spooky image on screen right now. I'll edit that in post.
Right.
With me today, we have my fellow podcasters. We have Lydia, Guy, and Bonsai.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as usual.
I was here for all 399 of the previous episodes, but they all got lost.
All
so.
4,000. He's been there for all 4,000 of them. He's the OG of the stream. I actually started hosting it after he had to go away on vacation due to a missing leg. It was blown off in Vietnam. We've been doing the podcast ever since.
Yep.
Yes.
In fact, it started while we were in Vietnam.
We've
used
had
to broadcast live on the radio.
Yeah, we've had 4,000 episodes since the beginning of Vietnam. So I have a lot of things planned out for today for what we should discuss.
Totally.
Let me just very slowly open that Word document to figure out the first thing that we want to discuss today. I think the first thing that we want to discuss today, what with this being recorded the day before Halloween, popular holiday here in North America, I guess the first thing we want to discuss is candy. Do you like it or do you not like it? Lydia, I'll have you take the floor first on this controversial hot button subject. Please, no name calling from the chat. Lydia, what do you think about Halloween candy? You have the floor.
Well, it's it's not good and it's not really bad. It's somewhere in between. I hear those ones that are like chewy because they stick to your teeth.
That's true.
Now, you go.
If I may say, I don't see the point in candy corn.
It's god awful.
Never
it's shit.
really. Yeah, exactly. It's just. It looks nice, but it
Wait,
tastes
are we
like
talking about Halloween
earwax.
themed candy or the fact that you get Halloween candy on Halloween?
Well, that's another subject for right after. Let's start with the candy itself, though.
Yes, Halloween candy that's actually made for Halloween is absolute garbage.
So we're talking things like what I would call when I say a chocolate bar, I'm thinking of like a bar that is Cadbury or something, but something along the lines of that, where it's like it's the squares, it's like a bar of squares, and it'll sometimes have things in it, but it doesn't necessarily have to. When I say candy bar, I'm thinking of Snickers, O. Henry, Mars bar, that kind of thing that you more so associate, not associate. That sounds like a terrible salsa-based candy bar.
It's
with Halloween.
In Mexico, I gotta tell you. That'd be Mexican candy. They frickin' put chili on everything.
Do they?
Well, chili flavored this. It's ridiculous. They spice
we're only
everything.
5 minutes in, and we're already starting with the racism, so this is off to a great start.
Yep.
That's true. Oh, that's
It's true.
It is. It's not being racist. It's straight up the truth.
Yeah.
Everything in Mexico involves spice.
I will say in England, one of the things that Cadbury's does is called, around Easter, you get cream eggs, which are these chocolate eggs that are hollow, and they've just got cream on the inside. It's a sweet cream. It's not. It's
we have those in Canada as well. Very good. Crazy sweet. I can't eat them anymore. I'm not a kid anymore. So.
My sugar.
But around Halloween, they re-release them, and instead of the yellow egg yolk, they've got green egg yolk, and they're called Scream eggs.
We do get those, yes. Only recently, I think. Now, actually, an interesting thing to point out here is that we might have different perspectives here, mostly between the three of us and Bonsai on Halloween, because Canada and the United Kingdom share a lot of the same chocolates and candies and stuff like that, but mostly chocolate bar kind of stuff, whereas the United States is missing out on a shit ton of the stuff that we have in terms of chocolate candy.
No, is your Milky Way our Milky Way?
I believe so, yes.
Because I know in America they've got different ones. Because they've got their Milky Way is our Mars bar.
We got the same shit as you. Canada does.
Okay.
In fact,
Yeah.
in terms of Canadian like chocolate bars between Canada and the United Kingdom, I believe the only difference we have that I'm aware of is that Canada produces Coffee Crisp, and I don't think any other country has those.
Evan's internet hiccuped, so he'll be back.
Coffee Crisp. First of all, do either of you
Internet's
have coffee?
back.
Hey, so Coffee Crisp is made in Canada, and I think the UK probably has it to some degree because of
did you
our
say
open
toffee?
coffee. Coffee.
No, I have
okay.
no idea what
So
Coffee
Coffee
Crisp
Crisp is it's kind of a Halloween-style chocolate bar in that it is like a small rectangular chocolate bar that comes in a package like that, and you tend to get it at Halloween. It is Canadian, although you can find it other places, and it is.
It's made of like Rice Krispies and that. Oh.
No, it is.
Cereal.
It's wafer. It's a wafer. It's a wafer cookie, I guess you would call it, with a decent quality chocolate coating to it and like a coffee flavor in it, like a fairly subtle coffee flavor, so it's not like crazy overpowering. It's really, really good. It's universally beloved even by people who don't like coffee. I don't drink coffee, but I like coffee flavored things, which is weird, but a lot of people say the same thing. I love Coffee Crisp. It's great. And it's a shame that not many countries have it, because I believe it's just Canada and the UK, but even the UK, it's in very select stores.
Yeah, like
I mean, I like the fact
something that you
I don't like coffee. I don't like coffee, but I will eat tiramisu because it's made with coffee and rum and stuff.
Another thing with Canadian chocolate bars and stuff, although we get most UK stuff just in our regular like grocery stores, we have it because we have stuff like Cadbury here. Although we have that, we can still get some of the more obscure, like not obscure, but more UK-centric things because we have British import stores all over the place. They're very, very common here. We have multiple chains of them, in fact. And that's where you go if you want to get either the more specific chocolates and stuff, if you want to find more specific chocolates, if you want to find more specifically crisps, like UK brands of it, that's where you find it. And if you want anything from Scotland, it tends to be in those stores. They always have a big section for Scotland, and it's almost entirely oatmeal. It's very
Nice.
good. Now, I'm a big fan of homemade oatmeal. I make my own oatmeal. It's great. So I can tell you that the Scottish oatmeal that I've had is also quite good. It's way closer to like homemade oatmeal than instant oatmeal, like Quaker's instant oatmeal, which is what you tend to get over here.
Don't
So
mind
I'd like to
Quakers.
say that my absolutely favorite brand variant of M&M is the pretzel one, which I'm sticking an image of in the chat for a reason, because they're very rare in England. I did actually manage to find some,
I've never seen them.
No.
I did manage to find some in a WH Smith, actually, under like a US section. But I will say that what I did discover was in America, the crispy variant of M&M, which is like a puff rice kind of thing on the inside or something, I think it's green, the wrapper for it. This is the wrapper for it in England. So I went to get one, thinking it was the other, and I fucking hate those assholes now.
I think you should write a strongly worded letter.
I will.
So I feel like we have gotten off topic ever so slightly, mostly because I started talking about oatmeal at some point, and that you don't get you don't tend to get oatmeal. I'm not gonna say you can't,
Spooky oatmeal.
but you don't tend to get oatmeal at Halloween. So now the
I've
other
been doing
question-
Halloween wrong then.
Yeah,
I
now-
normally do get I get my Halloween oatmeal every year.
But Bonza, you brought up a very good alternate question that I think we should get into now, which is what are our thoughts on the idea in general of getting Halloween candy, or candy at Halloween? Now, Bonsai, you proposed this idea first, so I guess I'll let you start.
Oh, no, it's just like, to me it's a little bit weird, right? Like, I don't understand how that came about, even. Because, like...
Yeah, like,
It's a really weird thing to just like come up with a tradition where you go to people's houses and ask them for candy.
Yeah, because I understand the costumes, because that was originally meant to scare off the evil spirits, because it's a pagan thing. But the idea of just mugging someone for this, I think I'm gonna look this up right now.
Why?
Origin of trick or treating.
Those biscuits, those biscuits and that I've just linked in the chat are the ones I live on, because I don't know if the chat knows, but I am diabetic, so I can't eat normal stuff. But I found a website that have got all these different biscuits and chocolates, and it's bloody delicious.
So I've just now come to the realization that Hitbox does in fact have a game category for podcasts, so I've gone ahead and enabled that one. Those actually look really good.
Yes, that is
I want to try that.
Those biscuits are sugar-free, and I can sit and eat a whole bloody packet in one go.
I'm still playing Vermintide while we're doing the podcast.
Good.
At least
that's
I'm
quality.
multitasking, okay?
So I do agree with what you said about it being weird, that handing out candy Halloween, like why this holiday for this thing. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and propose that perhaps it has a hidden Canadian origin, because giving out things for walking up to someone's house and getting something for free is a very maritime Canadian tradition of no one locks their doors. So perhaps it started when people would go around and walk into unlocked doors and raid their fridge.
People did that?
Well, I'm gonna say
people would keep the doors unlocked. People didn't tend to walk in and raid the fridge. However, pagans, right? So now that we've disparaged our pagan audience, which is probably no one, so I don't think we're going to get taken off the air for that one. No, I doubt it.
That's an explosive barrel.
So now I have to ask, on the note of explosive barrels, what is everybody's favorite spooky game? Doesn't need to be Halloween themed, just as long as it's like spooky or horror.
There used to be.
I
was gonna say there used to be a tradition of going door to door in the Middle Ages, where you go in costume and perform short plays for food or drink. So, on certain holidays. So I don't know.
Yeah, but that's medieval Canada, right? That's medieval Prince Edward Island.
Were there people in Middle Ages Canada?
In Middle Ages?
Than the Inuit. Other than the Inuit, obviously.
Well, the Inuit weren't anywhere near Prince Edward Island. There were people native to all parts of Canada, like, by then. However, the first European colonization would have been it would have been, it would have been Middle Ages.
It would have been.
Newfoundland was originally settled by Vikings that likely, if we were to trace it back to a modern country, likely would have been Denmark.
But you've just raised another important point. What year is Brother Bear set in?
I don't know the reference. I don't know the reference.
Brother Bear.
It's a Disney film about bears.
Brother Bear.
Well, no, it's a Disney film about a guy that gets turned into a bear because he was bad to a bear.
It's still 90% bears.
So you're telling me
it is 90%.
So this is the dark prequel to the Berenstain Bears.
Yes.
Well, they did actually have a sequel as well.
Wait.
So it's like
the Berenstain Bears or the Berenstein Bears? Because there's a difference.
Fuck.
Okay, we're not going into this. This isn't Halloween.
Okay. So no, what did you say? Favorite spooky game?
Does Rebirth count?
Silent Hill series.
Your favorite spooky game? Yes.
In general, the Silent Hill series, though some of them aren't good.
I've never played a Silent Hill game.
You need to.
Silent Hill.
I think I've played Silent Hill 2.
Here's the thing with the Silent Hill series. It's got like a really, really devout fan base who hate most of the series, and there's a good reason.
There is a good reason.
So, Silent Hill 1, and by the way, side note, Silent Hill 2 is my favorite horror game, but there are a lot that I love. So, don't go... I'm not one of those people who think Silent Hill 2 is, like, leagues better than everything else. I'm not that intense into it, but I do really, really like Silent Hill lore. I'm the kind of guy who likes to peruse the Silent Hill Wikia from time to time, just reading the lore. It's really fun. But anyway, for anyone who is uninitiated into the Silent Hill games, there's a reason why there's a lot of skepticism with Silent Hill within the hardcore fan base itself whenever a new one comes out. You see, Silent Hill 1 was a PlayStation 1 horror game. It was really, really good. I think it was great. For as much as people talk up Silent Hill 2 as being great, I think Silent Hill 1 was a close second in the series. Silent Hill 1 was also very good. It had a bit of different themes and stuff, but it was... I probably got more scared. I was probably more scared of Silent Hill 1 than Silent Hill 2. And keep in mind, I didn't play any of these games as a kid. I started playing them like late teens is when I started playing these games. So I already like knew a lot going in, and I still really enjoyed them. But Silent Hill 1 was a great game. Silent Hill 2 was considered more so now than at the time kind of revolutionary, in that it's a game that anytime there's a conversation of like really, really deep imagery and amazing theming and like just everything fit in the universe perfectly, whether you know it or not, like the more you dig, you never find a hole, is Silent Hill 2. So at the time, it was liked, it became loved. Silent Hill 3 is where people started to get a little bit iffy, where I think it's great, the plot is great, the big problem is that the first level is insanely fucking difficult, so a lot of people didn't get to experience a lot of it.
Yeah.
This isn't Silent Hill 2, the one with Pyramid Head.
Yes.
That's the really famous
one.
That's
the first one with Pyramid Head. That's another thing that people hate about the series later. Pyramid Head had a reason in 2. It didn't.
And then they
later
just were like, oh, he's popular, we gotta use him.
His wife or something?
I won't go into spoiler territory. I don't want to ruin it for anyone.
Yeah, no, I'm avoiding that. I'm just making sure
well,
it's not the one with the wife.
Well, you were hitting spoiler territory with
the
that
plot
question.
of the game, the plot, I won't tell you anything that you won't know until you pick up the controller. So, like, you've hit start, you're watching the intro cutscene, and it stops when you have player control. The initial intro plot to the game is that you're a man named James Sunderland, and you were called to a place by a letter you got in the mail from your wife, Mary. However, your wife has been dead for years, and you got this letter that said that is from Mary, and it was telling you to come back to your special place, which was it was reminding you of your vacation at a place called Silent Hill. So you take control of James Sunderland as he is standing in an outdoor bathroom on the outskirts of Silent Hill after driving here in his car. And he basically says in his internal narration, I don't know why I've come. My wife has been dead for years, but I just kind of have to. So he shows up, and that's where you get control of the game. And it's kind of unraveling.
But that sounds exactly like you're gonna get murdered.
It totally does.
Like,
personally, I would be thinking...
From your dead wife.
I would be thinking, I don't know why this asshole is fucking with me, knowing my wife is dead and just trying to torment me. But for whatever reason, he goes, and the plot of the game unravels from there. It's very, very good, though. Silent Hill 3, again, loved by the people who bothered to get past the first level, but the first level was hard as fuck.
It just takes exactly. It takes forever. You're not going to pass it multiple times before you finally...
Yeah, you will die multiple times before you get the first level, and none of the other games in the series are like that. For some reason, the first level is unforgiving. It is ridiculous. It's like, they're not even a series of games that are known for, like, crazy hard difficulty gameplay. It's more about the atmosphere and everything. It's not that the gameplay is easy in 1 and 2. It's not. It can get really hard, but you're always meant to make it through. Whereas the first level of Silent Hill 3, especially if you were to be new to the series and not used to the controls and shit, it is sadistic. Because,
it's
like...
terrible.
It's terrifying, too. Like, it might be a little bit too scary immediately.
But I was also used to the controls at the same time, so it was kind of like, it wasn't terribly hard. I still didn't get through it for a few attempts, though.
Yeah.
It's a while.
It is worth pointing out, though, that, like, the game eases up after that. It's irrationally hard at the beginning. It does ease up.
Design flaw. It's a complete design flaw, because no one wants to play it. They're like, well, if this is the game, why would I ever want to do this?
Then we get into... I don't recommend you watch two best friends play Silent Hill 2, actually. Not because I have a problem with two best friends play. They're fine. I'm just not super into them. I like some of the wrestling videos they did, some of them. But I don't recommend you watch them play. I recommend you play it yourself, because watching 95% of Let's Plays I've ever seen of a Silent Hill game is way too goofy to really get sucked into the way too goofy to get sucked into like the game itself. I really recommend you just play it. It's not hard to get them
because I'm absolutely horrible with horror stuff.
It's
so
not.
That sounds like that might be good for me.
It's not hard to get them working on modern computers because they all have PC releases that work pretty well with like a fan patch if you just Google it.
I do plan on watching them play Deadly Premonition as well, which I think you said you've played.
Deadly Premonition is one of my favorite video games of all time. It is not a horror game. I will say that right now. That is just bad marketing.
Okay.
It is not a horror game. It is a Twin Peaks-esque murder mystery that is very goofy, but aware that it is goofy. And it knows when to be goofy and when to be serious.
At the same time...
What about that whistle theme? Am I right?
Yes, it sounds just like Super Mario World, I know. The thing is, the game...
No, that wasn't what I meant.
it is very good.
Love that music.
The game is really... just side tangent with Deadly Premonition. The game has a lot of quirks. It has a lot of design flaws. Some people say, like, it's so bad it's good. I contest that because I don't think it's good because of its flaws. It's good because of the things that it does well. The flaws are often, luckily, flaws that don't take away, like weird timing in voice acting, bad voice acting in parts, all kinds of weird things that mess with it in minor ways that just make you laugh. The game is great because it can stand up on its own two legs, but the problems do genuinely take away from it. The problem is, like, your map is only on the pause screen, it rotates when you rotate, it doesn't zoom out far enough, the driving is weird. Those problems take away from the game. But it is not a horror game. In fact, the running and gunning segments are the minority of the game. The majority of the game is driving around and dealing with everyday minutia, which is way more fun than it sounds. But enough with that tangent.
I genuinely can't see the letters. Is it FK or KF or something? I couldn't see them in the coffee.
FK in the coffee is an infamous line. There is a PC release of that game now, which is quite good.
I think we need to move on.
No, but I mean, I can't see it in the coffee.
I saw it. Anyway, we need to move on, keep going. Let's finish off our thoughts on Silent Hill real quick. Let's go. Let's quickly finish
I was even
going to
say we need to move those through too. We've been talking about Silent Hill for a while.
We have been talking about it too long, but it's a podcast.
I want to talk about The Last of Us too, because The Last of Us.
We will talk about that real quick. I'm gonna try and finish the Silent Hill thing in under 3 minutes. Silent Hill 3 is a sequel to 1. Silent Hill 4 is a tenuous sequel to 2. Silent Hill 4 lost a lot of players in that it was... People always argue, it wasn't supposed to be a Silent Hill game. They gave up on it not being a Silent Hill game super early in development. It's a Silent Hill game. It controls differently. The main character you don't attach to quite as well as the ones in the first 3. I think it's an overall really fun game. It's just kind of weird that it's a Silent Hill game, but I'm fine with it. It's just that they made like 3 or 4 games after that were all like hot garbage of like just action. They're just like melee action thrill games where the Pyramid Head is in every game without any reason given. And you're like having fucking like really good sword fight shit with sexy nurses, and none of it makes sense, and there's no theming anymore. It just visually looks okay. Right. And there's like weird combat systems where it's like, I don't feel afraid of anything because I'm a fucking ex-Marine in one of the games. Like Silent Hill Homecoming, people fucking hate. And then there was Silent Hill Remake on the Wii, which was just weird, and I guess if you're into that thing, you're into that thing, but it was not... It was like its own complete thing. It was not a remake, it was its own weird spin-off, and that's why the Silent Hill series, like, the fans are really iffy with it, because the first 3 games were fucking great. The 4th game, you love it or you hate it, and then everything else was just, what the fuck happened?
Pretty well much.
And now there's a slot machine. So, there you go. But let's go into Last of Us, because you wanted to go into Last of Us. Is that your favorite horror game?
No. I would say Silent Hill 2 is probably my favorite horror game.
It's my favorite too.
The Last of Us, I know Lydia is into, and I liked it quite a lot. So Lydia gets to talk about The Last of Us, because I want to hear her thoughts on it, because I don't think I've ever heard them.
It was I wouldn't call it a horror game, personally.
I kind of would. It was very suspenseful, and it is zombies, and you're... I would say it's a scary game at some points. I wouldn't call it a straight-up horror game. I would call it a horror survival, is probably what I would call it.
Yeah.
Because...
I did hear it had a lot of control problems.
Did it?
In terms of, like,
Here's
the
the thing.
of it was
I didn't have a lot of
fantastic.
control issues with it.
Here's the
I
thing.
suppose it might depend on the version you had, like.
That's true.
I I own the game. I own the HD re-release thing. It came with my PlayStation 4. I have never played it, and I've watched an entire full playthrough of the game. And the thing is, like, with the fan base of that game, it is really divided between the people who play for the gameplay and the people who play for the story. In that, some people really like the gameplay, and then some people just play for the story because they really enjoy the story. And I'm in the boat of the story was just all right to me, and a lot of people want to throttle me for saying that, because a lot of people, like, they cried at, like, every moment when they thought you would cry and everything. And I won't spoil the ending or anything, but, like, I've seen many people cry. I've seen Video Games Awesome, Fraser, cry at multiple points in that game. That dude is a stone-hearted bastard in a lot of games, and he cried at that game multiple times.
I didn't so much cry, but there was points, like, that tug at the heartstrings sort of thing.
Yeah, I didn't, like, I don't tend to cry at video games. I will admit, I don't want to, like, spoil, like, I don't know if it counts as a spoiler or not, but there's a character in Assassin's Creed 3 that died that I got very upset during his death.
George Washington? I know, it was a real loss for America.
No, it wasn't like an assassination or a battle or anything. Like, you just walk into the room and the guy's died in his chair.
Template 6 on the street. Oh man, that was a tragic one. When he got hit by that passing bald eagle.
No, he suffered the same death as Sophocles. A bird fucking dropped a turtle on his head.
He suffered the same fate of Diogenes. Ate that raw squid sandwich, choked to death. What a loss. Philosophy joke. I'm a loser.
Well,
but back to
yeah.
Last of Us. Sorry.
Upsetting deaths.
That was a tangent.
Yes, you guys.
I just got a whisper from Dylan saying I'm onto you.
So yeah, I actually that game made me care about most of the characters, which is something I can say most games don't do for me.
They set up the characters fine. The story itself was kind of cut and dry. Like, you're on this quest to get from point A to point B. It was pretty well much the story.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, the characters were good, but there's definitely a lot that happened. But like, it wasn't a complicated story though. But like, the character development was really good, I thought. So
they did a good job of making a lot happen without making it feel like too much is happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things were well paced too. Where like, when it's one of those stories where like you finish it and you enjoyed it and everything, and you don't really realize how much happened until you look back at the plot progression, and you realize, like, a lot of shit happened. Like, you went from so many crazy different places during the course of that game, and it just never felt like things were, like... It never felt like things were going off the deep end.
No.
It was a little bit formulaic not in the plot itself. The plot was very unique. It was a setting that I've never seen before, of like its type of zombie setting. I've never seen that before, and I thought it was a really cool idea. Actually, you know what? I have seen something a little bit similar to it in Obscure and Obscure 2. Those are two games that were from like PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, I think. And those were really good horror games, actually. Actually, no, the second one was fucking hilariously bad, but the first one was great. The second one is basically a comedy, and you should look it up for that. But they had the ideas of plant zombies well ahead of time, but it was done very differently, and it wasn't nearly as serious, and it had way more Linkin Park in the soundtrack. Not a joke. And I have a crying cat in the background. That's a wailing ghoul. It's a wailing ghoul in the background. That is to set the mood for the Halloween episode. It was a little formulaic in the plot, not in the setting, which I thought was a very unique take on zombie apocalypse, which is overdone. They did a good job of making it unique to the world.
They weren't like, infected, ha ha ha.
Yeah, they found a way to make zombies not completely the same thing you've seen 1,000 times.
Right.
But the way I think it's formulaic is that it felt like a lot of that game was meet a character, They're a little gruff around the edges at first, but you start to really like them, and then you're separated or they die. And it feels like it repeats that point quite a few times.
At least 3 times.
It's kind of the Telltale thing too, of once they've started to make you like a character you didn't previously like, they're probably doomed.
Yeah.
But not nearly to the same. Like Telltale has more variety in their characters, kind of. Like it depends. It sounds like I'm shitting on Telltale games. I'm not. I think Telltale games are extremely hit and miss. I thought Walking Dead 1 was great and Walking Dead 2 was fucking hilariously bad. I thought that Wolf Among Us was great, and
What'd you think of the Tales of the Borderlands, or did you play that?
I've never even seen a second of it.
Don't look it up.
I don't think I'll be able to handle it because I fucking hate a lot of the jokes in Borderlands. Is the thing. Like, I like Borderlands the game, but I don't like
the jokes. The jokes aren't quite the same. Like it's got a Borderlands feel to it, but it's not the same script writers as Borderlands 2. They do away with a lot of the toilet humor, if I remember right. I've only played the first 2 episodes. I do still have it installed. It's been updating. I've been meaning to get around to finishing it off, but I haven't yet.
See, the thing is, now that I think about it more, it's not the jokes necessarily that I hate in Borderlands games. It's the delivery and the characters. The comedic characters almost always come off as just annoying to me. The thing is, they make a lot of characters intentionally annoying, but it's supposed to be funny annoying. You know that thing?
Like Shade.
Like, what's her name?
I think my favorite thing about Tales from the Borderlands, I will say Tales from the Borderlands, it was worth it
CL4TP Steward bot.
Was it? There's Claptrap, there's Tiny Tina, there's the mechanic guy and his obese sister. They're all characters whose comedy is based largely in how much they annoy the character. Here's the thing. Some people find that funny. I find that fucking annoying. I can't stand that. They've succeeded in annoying me, and I don't find humor in that. I don't know who that is.
It's like, it's like, oh, you're my best friend. Oh, hey, buddy boy, kind of guy.
I don't remember him. But that was a tangent.
He's the only guy that's alive in his town, and everybody in his town is dead, but he still gives them voices. He's got like voice recorded himself saying their lines.
But that was a tangent. Back to the spook fest that is this podcast.
So, have you played Red Dead Undead Nightmare?
I have not.
Oh.
No. I never beat that game, actually, because I had a
Red
glitch.
Dead Redemption before.
See, here's the thing. Everyone says that their favorite moment of Red Dead Redemption, if you ever ask people, like, what are their favorite moments in video games, they always mention the first time they entered Mexico in that game, because apparently some really awesome music happens. And for years, I was like...
I genuinely don't remember that.
Yeah, for like a year and a half or something, I was like, I don't know what people are talking about with this thing. Like, since I played, I was like... I got into Mexico, and then I was in Mexico, and I just went to the next place and did the next mission. And I later looked up a video on it and realized that there's like this really beautiful music and sunset and shit that happens when you get into Mexico, and my game glitched out and never had it. So I was like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
Well, I'm in Mexico now. This is exciting, I guess, maybe.
Like, to me, it was like the most baffling thing. It's like as if everyone you ever talked to who played fucking Fable said, that moment when I first walked into Oakvale, oh my god, just it blew my mind. Like, I'll never forget that moment. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You walk in and there's like this short little cutscene where you talk to a lady and then you just walk her in free roam again. It's like that's what it was to me. It's like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. And then later I look it up and I was like, oh, this beautiful scene was supposed to happen that didn't happen for me.
I don't know about you, but that cutscene when you first enter the Nether in Minecraft absolutely broke my heart.
That's exactly like where it's like, am I the crazy one? Like if everyone you knew said that, like, but they didn't say a cutscene, like they didn't say anything that would make you think that you're missing something. Like if everyone just said, man, the first time I went in the Nether, like I couldn't believe, like that was like that
That's
stuck
what it felt
with
like
me.
To you.
And you're just like, I just entered a new zone. What the fuck are you on?
Oh, man, that time I won the championship in WWE 2K15 career mode.
In a non-title match against a guy who wasn't the champion. You know what's great? I got a comment when that came out that said that they had a title match with the champion, and after they held up the championship, and then it went to the in between matches menu. It didn't play the credits, and then it had a Twitter thing that said that some other fucker had the title. They won the title and didn't actually get it. Someone else just teleported to it. So they got the exact opposite glitch of me. But we're not. This is not the wrestling edition of Pass the Microphone, Please. So, in which we all fight over the microphone because we can't help but talk over each other.
Does anyone have any spooky real life stories that have happened to them?
Ooh.
Oh,
I don't believe in
you
ghosts.
Had the voices coming through your, like Mo, you had the voices coming through your wall that time. That was stopping you recording. It was the intercom. Some guy was like leaning on the intercom or something.
Oh yeah, well, that wasn't the wall, that was the ceiling, and that was some fucker was leaning on the intercom for an hour in my building.
Never realized they were leaning on it.
I don't know how they didn't realize, because like it's over I think there are thousands of people who live in this building. Like, it's a gigantic building.
Right.
So I think it's with the penthouse, it's like 28 floors. So I don't know how they didn't know for an hour. Guess no one called. I mean, it was like 2 p.m. on a Wednesday or something, so I guess most people were at work. But yeah, I couldn't do my job because some asshole was leaning on the intercom.
Like you just hear a ringing phone coming through the intercom. It's like, oh, there's somebody at the phone. Picks it up and just shut the fuck up.
No, it was just some fucking guy playing games on his phone or some shit for an hour.
And he was like leaning on. He was like got his elbow down on the intercom button.
Yeah, like I think he had like a book resting on it or something. Like it was one of the days of the fire alarm tests. So they had to test the intercom during it, and I think during the testing they just left it on.
They might have like had a ladder leaning up against it or something.
Maybe, I don't know. It was annoying though. So people in the chat want to talk about Telltale Minecraft. I don't know anything about it either in that I saw the trailers and it looks awful.
Okay. I saw the first video of I saw NerdCube playing the first one, and I was just, why does this thing exist? Like, it seems interesting, but I can't get into it because of the animation. Like, especially the mouths, the way the mouths work are just...
I think it's supposed to, like, be like a good cartoon for kids and shit.
Yeah, I think it's just basically
I can...
kids. It's
like, yeah, no, I can genuinely see it.
If
you consider Minecraft's main demographic, like how you see 7-year-olds walking around with Minecraft shirts, I can see it being brilliant to just stick on for your kid and just let them, if they want to play a game, just stick it on, leave them to it, and go do, I don't know, fucking Dead Space or something behind their back.
I don't get why it's not a movie, though, because the biggest complaint on the negative Steam reviews for the game is people buying it and then thinking it was Minecraft and being mad that they wasted their money. Like, why didn't you just make a movie at this point?
And call it Minecraft the movie.
Yeah, people would fucking line up for that. I wouldn't,
I
but
I wouldn't. Yeah, exactly.
I like Minecraft.
I mean, I like Minecraft, but I'm not like, yeah.
It's a game without plot. It's a game entirely for the gameplay because I like the gameplay.
And the movie will just be somebody mining diamonds for 2 hours and going to the end.
Yeah, it's like fucking watching, I want to watch a voiceless Let's Play of Minecraft where a guy is just mining and every once in a while they go back up to, like, cook some meat. Make a movie about that.
Because if I remember when it was first announced, I don't think they said it would be in the Telltale style of games, they just said Minecraft story mode being...
Yeah, you're a robot from hardcore right now.
No, he's doing his spooky voice filter. Just let him keep going.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had that episode. I don't know. Am I okay now?
You're in robo mode. This is Soma. You're a robot.
Soma looked interesting.
I watched a full playthrough of it. It's not scary. That's the first problem. Your character is really, really talky. and your character is a dickhead too. It was really hard to be scared by that. That's not a spoiler, you'll McScavenge. Everyone's a fucking robot in Selma. You like literally 10 minutes in, you're talking to robots. So I'm not going to say anything past that because I don't want to spoil it for people. All I'm going to say is your character is a dickhead who's constantly like, he's talking constantly and you just cannot relate with the guy. Like, I don't know, maybe other people agree, but fucking any time he has to talk to someone, he's either condescending or a dickhead to them. And,
I had that reaction to Only If. I did not like the main character of Only If, which is just like a free experimental indie game that's on Steam. I recorded an entire playthrough of it in one sitting a year ago, and the footage was completely wrecked for reasons that were outlined in my most recent video. And it's just, I could not play it. No, I could play it, I couldn't upload it, but like, I spent 10 minutes trying to do an intro or trying to get started talking because the game would just not shut up.
I saw someone in the chat there talk about Five Nights at Freddy's, and I can't believe we haven't brought that up yet talking about horror games. What's everyone's opinions on the Five Nights?
They're terrible.
So that's the thing. Everyone has a strong opinion on it. I think they're fucking great. They're just not the kind of games I would want to play. I think the lore behind them is really clever. I think the gameplay of them is really clever, but I would never play it just because First of all, it is cheap horror. I don't think anyone's going to debate that. It's cheap jump scares.
Yeah, the jump scares, yes.
I think it's incredibly clever how they're made.
That's the reason why I think they're terrible, is because the reason is after you get that first, like, oh, this happened to me, then when you get used to the pattern of it, it's just going to be like, oh crap, I messed up. Oh crap, I messed up.
Like,
God damn it, I messed up. Stop messing up. I hate myself for messing up. And that's all the game turns into, and that's why I think they're terrible.
Critical's playthrough of it is just, he just starts talking about other stuff, but he's like that with all horror games. He just, nothing phases him.
Right, but the thing with Five Nights at Freddy's is the fact that it's the same thing every single night with slightly different variables. And if you are trying to get through a night, it's just it
is fairly luck based as well. I will say I'm fairly hardcore into the story behind it. I did watch all the game theory stuff on it, but the actual games themselves on their own are at best mediocre. But I will say that I am impressed with Scott for being able to release so many games in so short a time and still have each one be something different. Like every one of them has different mechanics.
Yeah, that's actually one thing that some people say, like, oh, it's the same thing again. No, actually play it or watch it. He actually does an amazing job of really changing what you have to do every night. Changing what you have to do every game.
Every game.
And making it drastically different. Like, he kind of analyzed, like, what's the main thing that people held on to as a, like, safety, as, like, a safety shield that made them feel a bit better in this game. Let's remove it and replace it with something that still gives that sense of false security, but less so. And he did a really, really good job of that. I think that the games are really good in a weird way, in that they're really good until you've figured out the way to win.
Honestly, that doesn't take long. It's just...
It depends. It really depends on the player for that, though, because...
I figured it out really fast. Within 5 minutes, I had figured out what I was supposed to do, and it wasn't scary.
Well, I'm going to say the strategy of the first game, because you can't really spoil any of the games, honestly. It's a mechanics-driven game. Like, for as much as people have dug into the plot...
Like all the plot is backstory. It's not...
Yeah, it's all backstory. They're gameplay-driven games. The plot is only there if you care to check it out. And read into things in the environment and stuff. It's very much a hidden plot that's out of the way. They're gameplay-driven games, but the thing is, once you've figured out the way to beat it, it really loses its enjoyment to a degree, but you can also lose your enjoyment if you're completely clueless on it, because then it's just frustrating because you can't survive a single day. So you get into this, you can easily get stuck in this weird groove of it's just not fun at all. And of course, whether it's fun or not is largely dependent on your taste in games.
And the RNG.
The RNG, unfortunately. The RNG only gets really bad on high difficulties. But if you're gonna beat the game, you're never gonna get to the highest difficulty because that's an optional mode. But day 5 of any of these games, which is the final it's the final main day. You can kind of go past that in some of them. That
I know one of
does
them had a
have
mode where you could like customize the percent chances of certain things happening. So
they have
like,
that in all of them.
Well, was that in all of them? I thought it was only in like 2 of them.
You need to beat the game to get it, but it's in all of them. Like you can program you can tick up and down the aggressiveness of each animatronic and stuff.
Like that was actually the reason one of the security guards got fired. Like on his "you're fired" message, it said like tampering with the electronics AI.
Yeah, although that plays into fan theories and plot and stuff.
Yeah.
But for gameplay, it's really ingenious until you figure it out. Like, they always have a simple solution, essentially, of there's a pattern that you do, and if you do the pattern, unless you have it on the absolute, like, unless you go into the mode where you can individually...
Unless you're on 420 mode.
Yeah, if you're in 420 mode, which
is it's called because you set all 4 of them to difficulty 20.
Yeah. It's called different things on different games, though, because some of the games have different amounts of robots and stuff. But unless you're on the special modes where you customly make it as hard as it could possibly be, in which there are runs of the level in which you can be doomed, like, if you play on that mode, there are times when 2 things will spawn at the same time at a certain place, and there's no possible way you could have survived, which is unfortunate. On the regular difficulties of the game, you could find a formula that would make it impossible to die. And, like, in the first game, I'll just tell you what it is right now, because it's incredibly... Like, the first game was simple enough.
Everyone knows it by now.
It's simple enough that you could figure it out in 10 minutes anyway. It's literally just tap the light on the left door, tap it off. Tap the light on the right door, tap it off. Flip open your camera screen and just check immediately. Check immediately outside each door, and then Foxy's Cove. Repeat the cycle. All you do is repeat that cycle. So you're going to be literally... when you get fast at it, that's about a 3-second cycle of you doing that full thing, because nothing can kill you in 3 seconds. And if anytime you turn on the light, you see a guy, you close that door and keep checking the light until they're gone while continuing the cycle. And if you ever check Foxy's Cove and Foxy is not there, do not check anywhere else. Immediately close the left door. That's it. Because if you try to check around to see where he is, he'll have gotten there by the time you bring the camera down. You just have to close the left door, because he only attacks from the left. Every animatronic will only attack from a certain direction, and if you ever close your camera and you see Golden Freddy sitting in the room, you bring your camera back up for a few seconds and wait for him to go away. It's a very simple pattern. It gets very boring very fast, honestly, because you're just doing this cycle, and it feels like a day lasts forever when you're doing this cycle. And that's unfortunate, but all of the games do have a pattern like that, where when you get good enough at them, it just becomes a chore, except for the final game to a degree. Because there are listening mechanics in it, so the pattern is slowed down, so it does feel like it's not going by as slowly when you find the pattern. However, the pattern still has some RNG, it still has problems. In general, I think that they're really good games that have a glaring flaw, and whether that flaw ruins the game for you or not is kind of dependent on the individual.
Which it does for me.
Yeah, it's totally understandable that it does.
I think they're not good games. I just straight up think they're not good. The only thing I think is interesting about them is the lore behind them.
Yeah,
but
how into
that's
the lore
not,
are you?
I'm fairly deep into the lore side of things because I've read a lot of stuff on it. But the games themselves I can't play. I just don't like them.
Have you watched any of the game theory videos on them? Those are.
I've watched all the. I've watched all the game
Those are
theories
particularly
on them.
good. Have you watched the recap of the stream that they did?
No, I didn't.
They figured out a lot of new shit in that.
That's cool.
They did a half-an-hour recap one if you don't want to watch the whole 2.5 hours. But they literally talked to Scott Cawthon, the guy who made it, during it. Like, he started messaging them and letting them know whether they're hot and cold on certain things, and started figuring out new shit. They came up to really big new realizations. So I'm not going to spoil that. Go check it out on Game Theory's streaming channel if you're interested in the lore.
Will do.
Let's move on to another horror-themed game. What's another? Do we want to bring up Resident Evil? I feel like
I mean, that's up there for me actually too. Thinking about it.
Well, I should warn you. That's another one that everyone's played, but I haven't.
I really like Resident Evil games until Resident Evil 4, and I fucking hate 4. That everyone loves 4. I would like 4. I would think it's good if it was not called Resident Evil. That's my biggest gripe with it, is that it's not a Resident Evil game.
I guess... dang it, you mentioned it now, too. So, like, Resident Evil is up there with me for Silent Hill. Definitely.
Oh, yeah, Resident Evil 1 affected me a lot when I was a kid.
Oh, God. And then they have all those remakes and stuff, and those were apparently decent.
The remakes are fucking amazing. I've never seen a remake as good as the GameCube remake of Resident Evil. Mind you, I haven't played the HD remake on Steam yet, which I've heard is even better than the
yes,
GameCube remake.
I heard that too, but I don't own it.
Oh, and I played the DS remake, which was also quite good.
A DS remake? That's surprising. That's cool, though.
It was really good, actually.
I imagine the inventory system would be interesting with the DS. That would actually work.
Yeah, it worked a lot better, and it did have a little, like, gimmicky mechanic where sometimes when you walk through a door, you went into first-person knife fighting. It was a weird tacked-on thing. It was fine. It didn't get in the way of the game too much, but it really didn't need to be there.
Right.
So when are we having the full Mah-Dry-Bread Let's Play for Five Nights at Freddy's series?
Never. Perhaps one day I'll do a token stream of one of the games, but they're just not really the kind of games that I think that I could do anything with. Like,
hey, when's Right to Hell Retribution?
Continuing? I've had an episode of it edited and ready to go on my desktop for months now, but it's had audio issues with it that I was never able to fully fix, unfortunately. So the audio quality on Brandon's end is really bad, and it desyncs very slightly sometimes on his audio. It's a shame because it was a really good episode. There's just nothing I can do to fix that. So, yeah, it's just really difficult to get Brandon and I free at the same time to do anything. So that's why there's so little Flash Rash as well. Like, we haven't had a Flash Rash in half a year.
So how do you guys, like, can we get a little behind, like, I don't know if you've ever mentioned this before, can we get a little behind the scenes on how you guys do your videos together? Like, the ones where it's your screen, like, doing single-player stuff.
We do
like
Flash Trash and Ride to Hell differently. We do both of those differently. Ride to Hell, I think I even say in the episodes, is post-commentary. I record the entire thing alone, and I record an entire level alone, and then I send it to Brandon, and we both sync it up and watch it at the same time and do the commentary over it. That's all post-commentated, because then we can have the difference of me being shell-shocked and explaining, like, what it was like at the time, and he can get the full audio, because he really needs the full audio. When we're doing Flash Rash, people send him the games on YouTube, because his YouTube link is in the description of every Flash Rash episode, so people inbox him the games. He plays them on his own time and decides whether they're good for the show or not, and then he bookmarks them. Every once in a while, I'll search, like, the word asylum or horror or something like that on Newgrounds and just bookmark everything with a thumbnail that looks interesting and send them to Brandon without playing them. So I don't play any of the games. He beats the game, and then if he says it's good for the show, he sends me the link, I load it up, I send him a screen share thing over Skype. He can't hear the game audio, because that's not how that works. I know a way to get game audio working now without him hearing himself through a lot of rigmarole with multiple programs in Skype. But up until this point, every single Passing Controller Please, he has not been able to hear the audio, but he's beaten the game so he knows it. And he's beaten the games ahead of time so that if I get stuck, because he gets stuck in a lot of these shitty games, he can help me through it. And also because there's the interest of I'm going in blind and he knows what's happening. So there's a lot of interest there. There has been one game on Flash Trash we never beat because fucking Brandon said he's like, I was like, you beat the game? Yep. Is it good for the show? Yep. And later I found he didn't beat the game. He just found a text screen where they fucked up the programming and you can rewrite the text, and he wrote in "you win." So we never beat that one, but it was one of the best episodes we ever did. So I'm not complaining. That was fun. We never beat that game. It was called The Nightmare Realm. Yep, my scavenge got it. And it was it was impossible, and then within 2 hours of the video going up the next day, someone had found a way to beat it and written a strategy guide in the comments for us. I don't know how they're fucking wizards. I don't know how they did it.
Did you ever do a revisited video where you finished it off?
No, we were thinking of doing it, but Brandon said he went back with the strategy guide that the guy typed and did it, and it was basically just over, like, right after that, nothing interesting happened, so we're thinking of just maybe not doing it. There was one lost episode. We did Deep Sleep, and we've had about 100,000 comments saying, do Deeper Sleep, and we did Deeper Sleep, and it was a good episode, and the whole footage got corrupted somehow, just bad luck, I guess. And it's a shame because it was a really good episode we did, and we can't really just do it again because then you would lose our...
Yeah, because you know it now.
Yeah, because then I know it. It wasn't even like... And this thing with Deep Sleep and Deeper Sleep, they're not bad games. They're a little pretentious, but they're not bad games. And you lost a lot of good moments with that one because, like, we were making all kinds of jokes. Like, there was, like, a guy in the cellar in that game that you talk to, but you only see, like, the silhouette of him, and you never really figure out who he is. And then we theorized that he was Green Pizza and did the Green Pizza voice the whole time. And someone, just as I said
Who's
that,
Green
someone
Pizza?
said someone just, eating all the mushrooms, right when I said it, she typed in Samsara Room. Samsara Room was what Green Pizza was from. There was a guy in the comments section on Samsara Room, on the game, on Newgrounds, who wrote a review for the game that was the most pretentious fucking stupid thing I've ever seen, and his username was Green Pizza. If you go on my Hitbox chat over on my Hitbox channel, you'll find that there is an emoticon of a Green Pizza. People use that whenever people are being way too fucking pretentious. So yeah, he has lived on in infamy. That's also the series that spawned Man Bar. I believe it was episode 18. I could be wrong. There's Green Pizza in the chat. I believe it was episode 18. It was Escape from the Moon. That was the birth of Man Bar, of Man Bar. Man Bar, the origins of Man Bar is it means air. Anytime you have an air bar in a game, that is Man Bar. And also, anytime I find it such a badly programmed game that I click on the name next to an icon and it lets me type there, I replace it with Man Bar.
Wait, did you rename your air bar, or did that originally say Man Bar from the start?
No, I renamed it. Brandon didn't even know you could do it going into the game. He picked the game entirely because it had stupid music. Just by accident, I clicked where the word air was, and it had the icon that I could type over it. Because some people program their Flash games so badly that when they put text on screen, you can click it and type in something new. We've had that happen in like 5 games in 50 episodes. It's really bad when that happens.
We've got a website at work that you can do that on, just rewrite the whole lot. It's kind of hilarious.
So for anyone watching this on YouTube later, who's like, man, I wish that they would play some horror games, I have this playlist called Flash Trash, it'll be linked in the description, where all Brandon and I do are play really shitty horror games on websites like Newgrounds, like those Flash games that everyone is so afraid of. And we play them, and it's very funny. So there is your sales pitch if you haven't watched Flash Trash. It's the most beloved series in terms of, like, not many people watch it, but the people who do demand more of it on a weekly basis. I've never had a more beloved series from the fans than Flash Trash, and I love it too, it's fun. When's more Flash Trash coming? Whenever Brandon and I can be free at the same time, so who the fuck knows? It's been a half a year. It's been a half a year since we got to record it. Like, in the last week before the move, Brandon and I power recorded as many as we could, and we only got up to episode 50, which is already up. So, yeah. Pester Brandon. Message Brandon on his inbox on YouTube and tell him to do more Flash Trash, and we might be able to find time. Anyway, we're nearing 7 o'clock.
Since we're on a podcast, I'd say we should probably cut it there, even though we said we.
That's what I was thinking. Also, I'm really
I
hungry.
do want to share something with you guys and the chat before we go though.
Sounds good.
I need to upload a couple images to Imgur first, so I'll be.
I'm guessing you're about to post your Alienware in the chat.
Nope.
Oh.
But
okay.
thanks for telling everyone. My video hasn't gone up yet.
Oh, well, I already told everyone at the beginning of the shit show part of the stream.
Yeah, I was hoping they'd forgotten.
Yeah, I'm going to be putting that up as a second video, as like a, if you hate yourself, watch this. It's kind of like that time I uploaded, what did I call that video a few weeks ago? It was one of the Pass Controller Please, one of the Pass Controller Please episodes, What Geek just said that it was a shit show, and they said, do a Reading Rainbow reference.
Yeah.
And then someone told me to like put LeVar Burton in the thumbnail. So I I found a picture of LeVar Burton, cropped out his head, put it in there, overlapping just a random thumbnail of the game, and I named it PTCP Does Reading Rainbow, a Trainwreck Simulator.
Yeah.
That episode was great.
Yeah, apparently people really liked that one, so...
Something tells me you're going to want to edit this one up.
I had a very interesting glitch when I loaded into GTA 5 just now. And,
is that
there you go.
Is that a floating truck, or... Yeah,
yeah.
okay. For the record, I don't know if you guys are checking the stream, but for the majority of the podcast section of this stream, we have had the chat on screen, so that is visible on the stream.
Yeah, no, I did see it. But...
All right, just making sure that everyone knows.
Yeah.
I'll be doing some more stuff in post.
I'm now going to drive forward and see what happens. And okay, it just plonked me on the ground, and then I drove off. Okay.
All right.
That was disappointing. I was hoping to just fly off.
Do we have any final thoughts on Halloween?
I don't have a Halloween story, but it kind of fell off the end of the chat.
I'm genuinely not feeling particularly Halloweeny this year.
You are a Halloweeny, though.
Yeah, I know. Like the last couple of years, I've just sort of lost the Halloween spirit.
I stay at home and play video games on Halloween.
Maybe it's because nobody, my friends are off on a Halloween party and I wasn't invited.
Well, even at the old house, we haven't participated in Halloween for like 2 or 3 years now, and as depressing as it sounds, we haven't handed out candy on Halloween because we haven't been able to afford candy for 3 Halloweens now, counting the one that's about to happen, so we just we just turn off our lights and don't let people come to the door.
Pretend nobody saw.
The funny thing about that was one time, like normally my mom's the one who passes out candy and I'll just hide in my room. And one year she's like, hey, can you do it? And of course I didn't want to go to the door. She's like, you don't have to if you don't want to. And I was like, great. So I went out there and after she left, turned off the lights and just took the candy into my room.
Awesome.
started eating candy while I was playing video games. I was like, yep.
It's a good Halloween.
That she was the one who gave me full reign over the candy, so like...
That's her fault.
I've got a story of a possessed TV, if anybody wants to hear it.
Oh, yeah, let's hear that.
Yeah,
that's a good way to end.
Yeah.
Possessed TV.
The story of the possessed.
I'll put scary music in the background for YouTube.
Lavender Town theme.
No, fuck you. I actually have the vocal version of the theme a fan did for me once, and I've never gotten a chance to use it.
I want to hear the story!
Okay, story.
Well, for those who don't know, my father died nearly 4 years ago. And about 6 months after that, we have a TV in the sitting room, right? He always said that was his TV. So I went down one time, I must have been having a bad night because it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. Went into the sitting room, did something, came out, heard him scream, turned around and the TV was flickering like mad. It's like, oh my god. Shut the door, ran upstairs, hid under the bed. It's like, no!
Why would your dad be trying to kill you?
No,
he's just trying to tell us that the TV belongs to him.
No, you clearly misunderstood your father for all of those years. He was telling you that the name of the TV is my TV and that the TV is a sentient being.
That's it.
Yes.
He
tried
to introduce you, and you've been snubbing him all these years.
Yeah, you've been awful rude to that TV. It's just lashed out at you now because it was too polite to do it before. That's my fan theory on your TV.
That actually sounds kind of terrifying, though. I would have been like, yep, no, away I go.
Yeah, I would have gone to bed then. I don't believe in ghosts, so I would have been, I'm too tired tonight. I'm going to bed.
Well, I live out in, like, I'm in like a sort of cul-de-sac type thing off a highway, but there's like nobody around, and I know all the neighbors, well, I did at the time, I don't anymore because everyone's moved and new people have moved in and I haven't bothered meeting them yet, because I don't care. But the point is that I remember, like, about maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I was lying in bed, and I heard this voice outside my window that definitely wasn't any of the neighbors. It was like some, like, I guess, like a young woman, sort of old teenager sort of voice. Like, if I had to guess a face, it would be like the sort of thing like black hair with a pink highlight type of person, shouting like, hey, and then a couple of other words. It's just, I don't live in an area where you'd hear that. And it's not just the one night, like there were a couple of nights, and it wasn't in a row, it was just spread out, just every so often I just hear voices outside my window.
I've had a lot of days at my old house where I'd hear screaming and wailing coming from outside, but that's because I lived 1 block away from a block of government housing for the mentally disabled. So sometimes, there were crazy people who would beg on the corners all the time, even though they had everything paid for them by the government because they wanted drug money. So. Yeah, living downtown Steeltown is not necessarily the safest location in the world. That's where I lived for like 5 or 6 years, so...
What floor do you live on?
Well, I don't hear the screaming here in Toronto.
Yeah, no, but like currently.
5th? Yeah,
the screaming followed you.
Yeah. I don't think it would follow me the hour's drive between Hamilton and Toronto, but I live on the 5th floor.
Is that American 5th or English 5th?
That is American, I believe. Like, if we're counting the ground floor as the 1st floor.
Okay. Because in England we got ground floor, 1st floor, 2nd floor, and then America it's just 1st.
So I would be 6th for you.
Okay. So, if you hear any knocking at your window tonight or tomorrow night, just a light tapping on the window.
Well, actually, we have a door to a very small balcony. The window is literally just a wall of glass, and there are window cleaners that come by, so... And you can't have curtains here, by the way. Like, that's how bad this room is. One entire wall is glass, and there are no curtains, and there's a steel beam in, so you can't put in curtains. So, in the morning, like, depending on what time of day it is, or what time of year it is, rather, the sun will just, like, 5:30 in the morning be right on top of the bed. So, it's shit.
Oh dear.
But I want to end this on the scariest story of all.
And that's why it looks like the world is currently being nuked every time you have a blog.
Yes.
Scariest of them all. Go for it.
The scariest story of them all? There was once a boy named Guy who woke up one morning and realized that his Alienware mask was just a dream. And on that bombshell, that's it for this week's Pass the Microphone, Please. If you want to check us out live next time, we're live every single Friday from 5 till 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Check out the description on YouTube if you want to check out the Hitbox page where we stream live. Fuck me. All of these things are archived over on my YouTube page on the Mah-Dry-Bread on YouTube. Search it. And until next time, on behalf of myself, Guy, Lydia, and Bonsai, have a nice day.
I'm gonna go pick up Payday 2 just to double check.
I'm gonna bullshit a little bit, and I'm going to create an impromptu intro for us, alright? Alright. Fuck it, this is gonna be great, trust me. It's gonna be a 1-hour podcast. There we go. Because that'll take us till 7. Alright, I'm gonna do a fucking intro. We're gonna do this podcast like it was totally planned. It's gonna be great.